Hi guys, good afternoon, welcome back to the channel. Lovely to have you back with us during this period of lockdown. I hope that you're all staying safe and you're remembering to abide by all the COVID rules. Really important. Sooner we get it done, sooner we can all get back out in the field and get shooting. What we thought we'd do today is to bring you a little bit of a comparison of two of probably the most popular guns on the market for people of short stature, specifically ladies, and youth guns. Please do make sure you subscribe by clicking the link below. Make sure you ring that bell as well, and then you'll be notified the moment any new films of ours become available. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Instagram channels. We'd love to hear from you, love your comments, and it's really important that we do hear back from you. So guys, what we've done is we've brought together two of the UK's most popular brands of gun. We've got a Browning and we've got a Beretta. Now, what we've done is rather than picking out any guns, we've brought you two guns which are specifically for ladies who shoot. They're also there for the slightly slighter framed people and also for youth guns. The idea behind all that is that most guns are made and built specifically for men, so bigger handed, right hand eye domination and so on and so on. What Beretta and Browning have done is brought two models together, and the idea behind them is that these are specifically for ladies that want to shoot or are shooting. So for example, they've got slightly different stocks, higher combs. The weight has been watched very carefully. They've got a different type of pistol grip and reach, and that is all specifically built around ladies' builds and the shorter stature frame. So let's start with the Browning. What we've got here is a Browning 525 Liberty Light. Now, we were actually at the game fair over 3 years ago now when this gun was first launched, and we were very, very fortunate to bump into and speak to one of the directors of Browning, a gentleman by the name of Lionel, and he very kindly explained as to what the development had gone into this gun, how it had been developed, why it had been developed, and the marketplace this gun was actually aiming for. So, you know, we were very fortunate to hear firsthand from an actual somebody at Browning who has been there, done it, seen it, and you name it, got all the ticks and boxes that you can imagine. So let's look at the gun. As you can see, if we start at the back, Browning have carried on with their absorption pads, which is a super pad system, I have to be honest, very similar to Beretta as well. We've got the stock is a Monte Carlo stock, so as you'll notice, whereas a normal stock would probably come across here like that, this is slightly raised. It's got a slight cutaway at the back, and again, slight cutaway at the front. And the idea behind this is that, certainly for ladies, is they've got longer necks, and they've also got higher cheekbones. So the idea is this is a lot easier to mount for them, and also it actually mounts better, so they're not actually having to move their head to meet the stock. So that's the idea behind that. You will also notice that the actual stock has actually got a slight downward turn to it, so it's actually pointing downward slightly, and again, that's to cater for the build of a woman or a build of a slightly smaller framed chap over the standard stocks. As we move forward, typical Browning, great, nice tight laser checkering, which is nice and tight, as you can see. We've got the standard pistol grip, but the one thing you will note on this, compared to other guns, is this pistol grip is very much more upright. Normally you'd find that pistol grip would sort of be curving back just a little bit more, not huge amounts, but a little bit. What they've done with this is actually brought it a lot straighter, so it points down, and what the idea of that is that it reduces the actual grip between the grip hand and the trigger. And that's because obviously a lady's hand again is a lot smaller than a man's. Then obviously as we move along, we've got again nice action from Browning. This is an alloy action, so again super light, which is great from a point of, you know, when you've got to carry a gun across a field, or even when you're in the playground. If we spin that gun around a little bit, obviously you've got your standard adjuster on the top. You've got your automatic, it's not an auto safety should I say, but you have got a safety on the top as well. Engraving on the gun is, I have to say, not my favourite. It's got this scroll floral sort of design on there. It's very limited. The wood is very nice and tight to the metal, which is really nice. And again, underneath, you know, we've got limited scrolling and patterning. We've got a little bit on the bottom of the trigger guard, and then obviously we've got it going across here with, of course, the B525 Liberty Light markings on there as well. As some of you who know that have already seen some of my videos on gun reviews, unfortunately Browning do love putting their gold triggers on, and this is something that I absolutely can't stand. But that is an adjustable trigger, so I'm sure you can find the right person or the right company, and I'm sure you'll be able to get a silver one should you prefer. As we move up to the fore-end release, little bit of scrolling on the top here, but nothing major. And again, we've got this nice laser checkering on the fore-end as well. Barrel's blue steel with a standard 8mm rib on there. So from a point of shooting game, shooting clay, I have to say I've actually shot this gun, and it's very, very, very good. It's certainly it'll certainly pull down any birds that you want to point it at, and it will certainly and happily smash clays for you as well. Browning have kept with their external non-flush chokes, which are the Invector type, and again, as part of the pack, you do get a full set of those, as you also do you get a couple of the rear pads as well. So all in all, it's a nice gun, it's a pretty gun, it's a light gun, it's an oil finish, but it does have a shine to it and a bit of a sheen to it as well. So all in all, guys, it is a really, really pretty gun. It's exceptionally light. I have to say, it mounts absolutely lovely, very, very easy to mount. So if you are quite a large guy like me, you've got really big hands, you're not going to have to do much more than pick and point, which is absolutely great. It's very, very, very quick to move, and as I keep saying, it's a super, super light gun, which is really what this is all about. And it's specifically been done, as I've said to you, for ladies that shoot, so you know, you'd like to think that it would be a bit lighter for them as well. So overall, very, very nice gun. If we move now onto the Beretta, now what we've got here is we've got a Beretta 690 Vittoria. Now again, if we start at the back, you've got Beretta's version of their absorption plate, and again, as you'll notice from the Browning to the Beretta plate is slightly thinner, but again, you can increase that and you can buy thicker ones or thinner ones, to be fair. Again, it's got the Monte Carlo stock, so exactly the same as what we just mentioned with the Browning. You've got the cutaway at the back, although not as great, I have to say, as the Browning. The Browning one comes much, much further forward to about here, and then you've got the little cutaway here as well. You've still got the pointing down pistol grip, which again, as I've said, is to reduce the distance between the grip to the trigger, which again is for smaller hands. Again, you've got this lovely, lovely tight finished laser checkering that goes along and up and onto the fore end. Now, the one thing I will say about Beretta is, I have to be honest, I much prefer their engraving finish. On this particular gun compared to the 525 Liberty Light, it's got this lovely acanthe scroll on there, and it's just got some different things going on. So we've got this nice stud finish here, which is quite floral. We've got your branding Beretta on here with sort of your little acanthe wings there, and they've just carried it around, and it just looks a little bit more like some time's been spent with this, just to make it look a prettier gun. So yes, the stocks are the same as the Browning. Yes, the pistol grips are the same. But the engraving, I have to be honest, is far, far better on the Beretta than the Browning. If we look underneath, similar to the Browning, you've got a little bit of engraving on the trigger guard, then it goes along. Whereas on the Browning, you only had, if you recall, just a little bit here and a little bit here. On Beretta, you've got the whole lot. You know, you've got the nice logo, you've got the 691 engraved on it, Beretta Field, made in Italy. You've got the fantastic, dare I say, silver trigger, not the gold trigger. And even when it goes up and onto the fore-end release, whereas Browning have just got a little thin bit of engraving in the middle, Beretta have actually filled the catch with the engraving, so it just looks nicer, just looks tidier in my opinion. The one thing that I really, really do like about this Beretta, And as some of you will know, I'm a bit of a Beretta fan anyway. I shoot with some 687 EE Classics personally, but I really like the fact they've taken this sort of matte black finish, and what they've done is they've just used it on the fore end so that it actually matches in a little bit with the barrels. Now, yes, okay, the barrels are shiny, whereas this is matte, but it just gives it that sort of bit more modern twist. I think personally, over time, this gun will look newer than what the Browning will, purely because it looks a bit more modern now. But overall, as I've said, a great gun. As per the Browning, you've got your barrel selectors and you've also got your auto safety on this gun. The engraving as well, compared to the Browning, does go along your catch and up onto the top of the box as well, which is really quite nice, I think. So again, not too focused too heavily on the engraving, but if you're looking for a pretty gun that has more engraving, then the Beretta is going to be the one that you're going to be looking at. If you want to look at something that has, in my opinion, got better angles for lady shots, such as the Monte Carlo stock, and it's got more sort of meat behind the design, I think is probably the right terminology, then you would want to be looking at the Browning. Now, weight wise, this is something that is quite interesting actually, because although these are both made for ladies, the Browning is coming in at about 6.5 pounds, whereas the Beretta's coming in at a tad over 7 pounds. So, you know, that's the other thing to bear in mind as well. You know, if you are conscious of weight, Browning is certainly the winner on that front compared to the Beretta. Now, from a point of holding and handling the Beretta, it's nice. There's no doubt about it. It's a nice gun. It's light. It's not a heavy gun by a long shot from a male perspective. Comparing it to the Browning, yes, you notice the difference straight away. This has got the flush chokes in it, so of course makes it slightly heavier, but all in all, yeah, it's a pretty gun. It does the job, and again, I've shot with this gun. I would say there is more recoil from this than there is on the Liberty Light. Now, I know that sounds a bit contradictory, because normally what would happen is the lighter the gun, the heavier the recoil. Now, whether or not the recoil was absorbed slightly better through Browning's absorption pad to the Beretta pad, I don't know. This Beretta's only got a small absorption pad on it, probably a 15mm, whereas the Browning that I shot has got a 25mm. So there will be some merit in that reduces the recoil. But all in all, gun-wise, you know, they're very similar. They are both very much a point and play. They come straight out of the box as is. They fit most, and they're an enjoyable gun to shoot. Price-wise, very similar again. Browning is circa around 2,200, 2,300, and the Beretta is roughly the same, a little bit more to be fair. I think it's just a little bit over 2.3. But on a personal basis, 2.3 to 2.2, I would look at I'd look at the Beretta on the basis of you're paying a little bit more for that lovely engraving. So again, if it's a budget gun that you're after and it's got to be a lady's gun that you need, then yes, hand on heart, the Browning is by far the better gun. It's lighter. It's, in my opinion, a nicer handling gun. The two negatives to it are the gold trigger, which is a personal thing. So again, don't let that put you off. And the fact that it has got the extended non-flush chokes. Engraving wise, yes, the Browning does have the engraving. Is it to the same standard and level, in my opinion, as the Beretta? No. So it is very much a swing and roundabout exercise, guys, and it's all down to your own personal preference. The woods on the guns, to be fair, for you know, what is deemed as you know, an entry budget gun at a couple of £1,000, the woods are very good. I do have to say, on these particular two guns that are here, the wood that's on this Beretta is far better than on that Browning. However, again, you know, these guns change all the time, and that's something that when you go to visit your local gun shop, they're the sorts of things that you want to be looking at if it's down to, you know, cosmetic things that you want to look at more over usability elements. You still want it to work, of course, but you also want it to look pretty. So, you know, that's something that, again, is a personal choice. But as I keep saying, all in all, either or but they're both great guns. They're lovely to shoot. They'll both knock birds down in a game field. They'll both smash clays apart for you. I have run both 24 gram cartridges through both of these, and also a 32 gram cartridge, just to try the difference between a standard sort of clay cartridge at 24 grams and then moving up to a game or a field cartridge at 32. Both of them handled it very, very, very well. And to be honest, yes, there is more recoil on them than there would be on a slightly heavier gun, but it's nominal. Nothing that certainly a recoil pad in your jacket, or by increasing the absorption pad on the end, wouldn't sort. So all in all, guys, two very, very nice guns, and well worth looking at if you are of a smaller frame, you are a lady, or as I've said, you are a youth gun. I think you'll enjoy both. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope that it's told you what you needed to know about these guns. Please do remember, if you have any questions, have any comments, we really want to hear about them. Please do make sure, as I've said before, you do subscribe on that link below, and you do ring the bell, and then you'll be notified of any new films that are coming through. So guys, unfortunately with the lockdown, we have had some of our game days delayed just until December and January. We are fortunate though, we did shoot our Clavelli shoot a couple of weeks ago, so that film's going to be coming out on the channel hopefully in the next 10 days. Keep your eyes out, keep subscribed so you can see that. That is an absolutely stunning, stunning, stunning place to shoot. The scenery second to none, and the birds are phenomenal, so well worth a watch. In between, obviously, those videos and the new game days coming through, we're going to be doing some more gun reviews for you and some equipment reviews just whilst we're on the lockdown. And then as soon as December opens back up, touch wood, we'll be out there, we'll be out shooting the likes of Bettis Hall, Ridgeway, Leckwedigarth, Beaver Castle, and lots more. And we'll be bringing all those to you on the channel. So please do keep subscribed, keep tuned, keep watching, and stay safe.